What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat. Today in the world of indie games, we're checking out a game called Nauticrawl, which in a lot of ways reminds me of all the games by Screwfly. Now, this is a very immersive, kind of story-based, slow-paced roguelike. And that's the best way that I know how to describe it. It's like a roguelike where you die very, very easily, but even in dying, like, you learn lessons each time you play the game. And I guess it'd be a good idea to give you a rough synopsis of the storyline, because that actually affects kind of the way the game is designed. This game is designed from the ground up to be incredibly immersive and get you into the role of the character that you're playing. And so anyways, in Nauticrawl, you live under the ocean, and you're a member of like a servant class or like a serf class. You're trying to escape the nobility, and so in order to do that, you've stolen an underwater aquatic crawler that will take you away from the place where you serve at their leisure, which obviously is super illegal. You're not allowed to steal this vehicle, nor, due to your social class, are you allowed to learn how to pilot it, and you're trying to make your way up to the surface where a utopian island and beautiful society exists that you're not allowed to be a part of. So that's the rough idea, and the reason why that's relevant is because inside the cockpit of your Nauticrawler, you're not going to know how to do anything. Everything in this game is trial and error, and you like switching on levers and moving things around and being like, okay, does this make me go forward? What does this button do? Oh, it killed me when I pushed that button and ejected me. Okay, well, I'm going to try this then. You know, like the entire game is basically from the perspective of someone who has not been trained to pilot this vehicle, trying to figure out how to use it in a complex operation to escape and break through the chains of the dystopian society he lives in. And so anyways, let's launch Nauticrawl. I recently died, so we shouldn't need to worry about a save being in the way. Let's try it on out. Records of Fugitive Worker 725, a rogue escape. All right, so here we are. We're inside of our Nauticrawler. This is basically the interface that you're going to be interacting with for the rest of the game. And there's a few things we need to do first. So, like, nothing is working. If you look at the switches and things, like, nothing is going to work. That's because the power is not on. And so the first big thing we need to do is we need to flip this lever down. Don't ask me how long it took me to see that lever right there. You don't want to know, and it's kind of embarrassing. Now that we have that on, we can actually power on the engine. I think. Can't we? Oh, well, maybe we can't power on the engine. I think we need to boot up the nav computer first. So let's boot up the sonar, and then we'll boot up the nav computer. We'll boot up this is our inventory display, essentially. This is kind of for all the fluff text and everything else. We got to do this quickly, though, because our battery's running out. We got to get the engine up and running. Yeah, we had to boot the computer. That's what it was. And so let's go ahead, and actually, I don't want to mess with the engine yet until we turn on the entire system. So there we go. Our Nauticrawler is officially online. Right now, we're inside of a room, and it looks like there's some kind of object right there that we can interact with. There's a couple of, like, we got to talk about a lot of stuff. Like, a big portion of this video is just going to be explaining things, because this is an in-depth game that has a lot of moving parts. And if I just start playing, you're not really going to get the idea of what's happening. So this right here is our heads-up display. It's going to give us all of our statistics, how damaged our craft is, whether our cloak field is working properly, if our net hook is connected to anything. Our net hook is sort of like an electrical internet. It's kind of like an internet harpoon. We fire it into things, and then it connects us directly to the neural network of whatever we fired it into, so that we can, like, hack it and basically, like, utilize it and, like, steal from it and transfer things over. And so, like, we kind of need to use the net hook pretty frequently. We've got our hull integrity right here. We've got our battery status, so, like, our cloaking system is down. Our monitors are not draining any of the electricity right now. The net hook's not draining anything. The engine is generating 1 electricity per turn. So you see how that one's like a dimmer blue right there? That means that every turn when we move, we're going to get 1 unit of energy back. And we can actually make that a little bit larger if we power down systems and we get rid of, like, some of this stuff. What you'll notice is that depending on what we do, we can actually regenerate more electricity by turning off monitors and, like, turning off the boot computer and stuff like that. There are a bunch of switches over here. I haven't actually figured out what these do yet. It seems like they're attached to some kind of balloon or zeppelin that we can use to get above the surface of the water, but I haven't yet gotten to the point where that's going to be relevant. I don't know what this does right here. It says it's a knot matrix, but I haven't had a chance to utilize it. I don't know what that button does yet either, because I haven't had a chance to use it. On this side with our HUD, or I guess our different levers and whatnot, this right here is the cloaking system. As you can see, it modifies our electricity usage. And we want to get this kind of up to the green zone right there. and that'll let us know if we go over here, we're at 55% stealth. Anything above 51% essentially means that you're invisible, so you don't need this to be 100%. It's not necessary. Instead, what you want to do is you kind of want to get this as close to 50% as possible, and then you can also, there's a couple other things you can do to make the cloak more effective, but we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. But for right now, we're going to be losing 1 unit of electricity every single time we take a step with our cloaking field on. But we can turn that off for right now because we don't need a cloak. This right here is heat dispersal, this little lever right here. So anytime you take a movement, what's going to happen is the engine's going to generate heat. And as the engine generates heat, this is going to fill up. And there are a lot of threats in this game, and you don't really have any way to fight back. Really, stealth is your only option in this game. And so the worst thing that can happen is for the engine to shut off due to heat while you're in the middle of a zone where you've got enemies that are scanning for your craft. And so what we'll need to do is we got to pull that lever right there. It'll vent all of our heat out into the water, and we'll be back. It doesn't cost you anything to do that either. It's totally free. And so really what you can do is you can walk around while holding this lever, and you just won't generate heat. I figured that out a little bit later last night when I was playing the game and trying to figure out all the random little, you know, dots and tittles that the game has going on. Now that the engine is on, what you can see is that we can actually rotate our craft in the water. If you're wondering how we move, you actually have to turn the engine on right here. And so there we go. And then we also have to feed, this is the fuel intake right here. We've got a fuel injector, and we've got to be able to control that as well. And these affect different things. So you'll notice now that I've got both these powered on, we've got a little kind of, I guess, line right there that's out in front and it's been crossed. That's how far we're going to move on our turn if we decide to use it. This first lever right here dictates the distance that we're going to move, and this lever right here with the fuel injector determines how fast this line fills back up. So for example, if we take it down, this line is going to fill up not at all, or it's going to fill up incredibly slowly, as you see right here. However, there's a reason. You might be saying, well, why wouldn't I just max it out? Well, there's a reason you wouldn't just max it out. The first is fuel usage. So as you can see, our fuel usage right here on our fuel meter, it goes up and down depending on how fast our injection is going. It's also affected by how far we move right here. I usually just keep it on max because it doesn't really seem to matter. Like, I think you use the same amount doing 50% twice as you do doing 100% once. But the fuel injector is noisy, as is your engine. And so it's going to be harder for you to stealth if your engines are powered up really, really high. So, for example, right here, if we take this up to, like, right here, and then we adjust the fuel injection to, like, right there, what you'll see is that our stealth goes down to 29%, and it takes us a lot more electricity in order to get ourselves cloaked. So the fuel injection is actually, I figured this out my last playthrough by just, like, fiddling with things. Your fuel injection actually really, really, really affects your stealth. And so, like, figuring out a way that you can get yourself into sort of a, I guess, a neutral... There we go. So finding a place where it's, like, neutral, where you're not losing stealth, but you're also balancing out your energy usage with your movement is going to be paramount in this game. You have to learn how to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to die over and over and over again. So this is a game about observation, about realizing your mistakes, about understanding your machine slowly as you learn what each part does, and then pushing your way forward with the new knowledge you've learned to get a little bit further each time. Okay, so that long spiel out of the way, we're actually in a decent position to actually start playing the game now. I know! After 10 minutes of explanation. So we'll go ahead and kill off the cloak for right now because we don't need it. We can basically take big, long moves because we're super safe. You can just do WASD if you wanted to move the ship around. I'm guessing that a lot of the people that are going to be Googling this game and looking for it on YouTube are like people that don't know how to play. And so I'm trying to be very, very thorough about the way that I approach it. Let's move up to here. We have our net hook right there. We'll go ahead and pull up to like right there. Perfect. All right, we have an incoming radio broadcast. Attention all units. Unauthorized access to the royal stables detected. The fugitive is not a trained pilot. Track anything that doesn't possess a valid heraldry. It's true, we don't have a valid heraldry. Apparently there's like noble houses and stuff, and you've got to have like heraldries and things of that nature, otherwise people murder you. We need to activate the net hook. And so if we wanted to hook up with this object right here, there's actually a couple of buttons right here that I didn't talk about. You can actually zoom out on your radar if you really want to right here, just to get a better picture of what's going on in the area. And then this button right here will give you a text synopsis of everything that's around your ship right now. The big walls surrounding the perimeter show a huge gated entrance connected to a net hook access point. So there you go. We need to actually hook into this access point. So let's turn on the net hook. It'll charge. You want to fire it when it gets to green. Perfect. So the net hook is now connected. You can tell from the little fizzly electricity thing that it's doing. And so we can access the storage of this thing. Oh, I did the wrong thing. There we go. There's 2 fuel refills and a battery inside of here. We're going to take all these resources. So we're going to grab every single one of these. These are going to be our lifeline. When we run out of fuel, we basically die. So you're going to kind of have to have it. The battery is also useful for when things go really, really wrong, like in the line of fire. So we'll take that with us too. We can look at the recent logs for the gate. Op 1 reporting. Nauticrawl units with no coat of arms. Base. We are aware. We've instructed all turrets. Op 1, understood. Should we lock the main gate? Base. They don't even know how to use the cloak field. They won't last a minute. Okay. We can open the gate from right here. So there you go. We have now officially opened the gate. You see it open right there. And we can detach the net hook. We go to unhook right there and it'll detach that. So now we are free to move. And we can sort of start looking around a little bit. Okay, so there's a turret right there, and it's scanning for us. We're going to have to sneak past this thing. And so since this is our first lesson in sneakery, let's get rid of all of our heat right now. And I need to lower the fuel injection. We're going to raise the engine right there. We're going to get our cloaking field online. I don't know if the engine... Yeah, the engine doesn't seem to affect your stealth. So, like, moving long jumps, in my opinion, while stealthed, seems to be the best course of action. So I'm just going to kind of go over here. And what you will notice is that their little scan radius just went right around us. It didn't even see us. And that's because we're effectively cloaked, as denoted by the little purple light right there. Now that we're outside of the range of hostiles, we do want to deactivate the cloak and vent our heat. And so now we can sort of just like swim around on the bottom of the ocean and see if we find anything interesting around here. We really just want to look for like points of interest. There's another one over here. He didn't see us. So I think we're okay. Let's go ahead and turn the cloaking field back on. Cloaking field is online. So we're going to move over here. And then I don't know if he's actually... Oh my goodness. Oh, we've been caught. Oof. Well, that's not going to be that helpful. Let's just move to cover. There we go. Apparently, we were no longer stealthed. I don't know if it's because... So, right here, we're in stealth, but over there, we're not in stealth. It's possible because we got hit by multiple scans. Maybe? I'm not sure what happened right there. There's a lot of things in this game that are unexplained, especially when it comes to hostiles. Tank 1 is empty right now. So we need to use our... Let's go ahead and dismiss that. We need to jump into storage. And we need to use a fuel refill. What you'll see is our fuel went all the way back up to max. So that's good. I don't know what these are right here. But we're almost out of battery. We've got a radio broadcast, okay. What's the radio broadcast say? The old man was telling the truth. The lighthouse is real, yet what lies ahead is still a mystery. Your finder and your compass are going to show you the way. Don't let the sacrifice of those who failed before you be in vain. Okay, fair enough. Dismiss that. The damaged Nauticrawl unit left for retrieval from certified dismantlers. A thick stratification of sand covers most of the hull already. As stated by Royal Court, due to recent plunders, all belongings of the deceased pilot are to be considered property of the local authorities. Ooh, this is going to be tough to loot, though. We've got, like, an enemy scan going, like, right now, and we're low on battery. That's why we're getting that little like, that's why we're getting that little noise right there. But we do need to loot him, unfortunately, like we have to. If we don't loot this guy, it's going to be a mistake. Let's kill that. Fuel injection's down to 0. I don't know how our stealth is looking right now. Stealth is at 55%. I think we should probably use our battery. Because I don't think we're going to have enough to deploy the net hook. I also don't know what the net hook's effects on our stealth is going to be. So I'm going to turn the cloak all the way up. Yeah, I was going to say, the net hook is probably pretty pricey. Like, it did cost us almost half of our energy. In this guy's storage, we've got a battery. We've got fuel refills. We've got repair kits for fixing things. Let's take everything. I'm going to loot the hell out of this guy. I don't know what that A is that's over on the ground over here. I have no idea what that is. We're going to have to use this battery to leapfrog over there and find out. And if it's nothing, we're just going to be, like, wasting our time, essentially. The reason why I turned the cloak all the way up is because I was a little bit worried that the act of looting might lower our stealth rating, and therefore we get seen kind of pilfering around. But it looks like we're okay for right now. Let's take that back down to an acceptable level. This guy's got notes. Let's take a look. Tech Note 1. Notes from the training course. The battery. An electrical consumption is vital. Every instrument consumes ions. The cloak is the main drainer. The battery will drain with time only when the engine is off. Red cells mean the battery will drop on the next action. Pale blue cells mean it will gain charge. See left monitor for stats. Yeah, there you go. We have a log over here. All units, new directive is to abandon the island immediately. Go fetch your crystals. Yes, sir. Heading to the crystal tower now. Report back once your unit is in the Zeppelin mode and ready to fly. Wait, units approaching with no coat of arms. It's an ambush. Unlocked emergency button. Sent retrieve signal. So apparently they got ambushed and attacked. Alright, well let's unhook from right here. We've already looted that guy. I don't know what that is over there, but I do want to find out. Let's turn the injection back on. What is that thing? I'm intensely curious. Damaged Nauticrawl unit. Oh, it's another Nauticrawl. Really? It's another busted Nauticrawl. How far does this guy's range go? Far enough. But it looks like, to me, that this Nauticrawl unit is actually blocking the line of sight of the scanner right there. I think it does. Well, that means we're going to have to take a chance, in my opinion. And we don't have enough electricity left to run the net hook. So I think I'm going to have to use the backup battery. Oh, I didn't want to reboot the mainframe. That was an accident. Oh, it's a worker. Oh, warning. Stolen property. Oh. What's in his storage? A Heraldry Scrambler. What does that do? The Heraldry Scrambler. Scramble the pilot's coat of arms to allow connections to turrets or any type of terminal. Not a complete coat of arms. You will be scanned once connected, but it does the job. Or so said the Herald Smith who fabricated it. I've never found this item before. Hell yeah, I want it. That sounds like a major come-up. So my Not Matrix isn't working right now. I don't know how I swap in my Heraldry. But there's salt right here. That's the currency of the realm. The currency du jour, I guess. We've got another battery to replace the one we just used, which I'm thankful for. And we've got another fuel refill because, like, we are hurting for fuel refills right now. Does he have any records? A floating crystal. What if Nauticrawls could float on top of this thick atmosphere? It'd be almost like flying. The old man was drunk when he said these things, but you gotta be careful. Okay. What about field notes? So we've got the lighthouse. Insufficient to resolve. Data is still insufficient to resolve meaning. Okay. Turns out they use the decorated heraldry trip carried by members of the royal houses to detect the rest of us. The unique frequency emitted by each heraldry acts as an identification system. Turrets and other surveillance machines use these readings to activate security measures. I better mount that scrambler I bought. Okay, I don't know how I mount the Scrambler. I'm a little bit worried about this. I was hoping it would just do its own thing. Warning, this unit was stolen by unauthorized personnel. Inspection protocol scheduled before retrieval. Okay. Well, that's everything. So we already took care of business over there. My next plan is to jump as far away from this turret as possible while remaining outside of the area where it can scan me. We can actually kill off the cloak for right now. It doesn't matter anymore. Okay, it does matter. I was wrong. Is he going to get me with his scan right here? I'm going to wait and see. Let's vent a little bit of that heat. Little bit of that hot heat. Wonder how I mount that thing. Oh, we're just outside of its radius right now. I am curious what's down that way. But, like, we're so limited on fuel most of the time that, like, I'm scared to do it. Like, I don't want to get lost and be, like, running around all over the place. Apparently, Ye Noble Turret 14 has decided we are a baddie. And there's nothing back over here, but at least we got ourselves into a little alcove. We are going to need to refuel. You can click this little, like, this little toggle switch right here. I don't remember what those are called. It's a little butterfly switch. Is that what those are called? I don't know. It's a flicker switch, all right? That's what I always call them. I call them flicker switches. We can flip this flicker switch, and this is our secondary fuel cell right here. We can swap over to it if we're under duress and we don't have time to refuel. But we do have time to refuel right now, so let's go ahead and throw that into the tank. We've got a full battery for right now, so we don't really need to worry about too much. Let's get the cloak up and running. I'd like a status report on my cloak. I'm guessing we have to find somebody to mount that heraldry thing for us. That's what I'm guessing. Oh, look, there's light coming through. Maybe it's because we're near one of the towers. I think that's what it is. I think every time you're near a tower, light comes through the porthole. Really cool little immersive thing that this game does. Oh, did my heat get too high? I don't know what happened here. It did. My heat got too high. That was my fault. Okay. We managed to avoid getting shot. It's always a good day when you manage to avoid getting shot. I don't know if we'll have the battery to make it through here. Oh. Looks like it doesn't matter. I don't think there's anything back there. Let's get out of the line of fire and give our battery a minute to recharge. Kill off the cloaking field real fast. We'll just continue this way until we find what we're looking for. And I still haven't found... What is that thing? Almost got me. Go ahead and vent that real fast. While I'm over here, what is that? An interstitiated structure, thin and tall, emitting cross light beams from its tip. The sole purpose is to synthesize crystals in order to perform sky sails from one island to another, although it is said that the ancient times the structures also hosted liturgic gatherings. Can I connect to it? Oh, I can. Oh, we need a coat of arms. The crystal tower has failed to read the pilot's coat of arms. This connection has been closed. Okay, so like I needed to... Okay. So I need to have, basically I have to be a member of a noble house in order to access that, I guess. That's what it seems like to me. We're a little bit low. I'm just going to kind of like hang out for a minute and let my battery come back. There we go. Battery's all nice and uh-oh. Maybe I'll go over here. Hopefully he doesn't have line of sight right here. Otherwise, that would suck. Tank 1 is empty again, unfortunately. You go through a lot of fuel in this game, but what you need to understand is that you're in like an underwater tank that's like rumbling along the bottom of the ocean, basically. And so, like, that's why it's so fuel inefficient. Let's go ahead and we will get the cloak snap back on. Because we do need to move through this area. We don't really have much of a choice. I'm going to hold that down real fast so that we don't generate heat. We have another wrecked worker over here. Fortunately, he's in an awkward spot. But I think we're outside of scan range right here. Nope, we're not outside of scan range. I was wrong. I made a mistake. We good now? No, he's still locked on me. We are gonna have to dodge over to here, maybe. Oh, dude. If you don't know what those are right there, those are enemy, basically enemy Nauticrawlers that are looking for us. Well, I was gonna kill the cloak, but I don't think it's gonna be an option. In order to net hook this guy, I think I'm gonna have to be like right there. Well, we are stealth right now. I'm gonna have to use a battery though, which I don't really want to do. My battery level is not critical. It will be in a minute. Trust me. You got a fuel. Yeah, I definitely need the fuel refills. Let's take those right this second. My little underwater battle tank needs those. We've got new field notes. We got another battery right there to replace the one that we're about to use. So that's good. Another repair kit in case we take damage. But yeah, this game is called Nauticrawl. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. This is a very unique immersive game, and I really try to show off the unique immersive games that come out as I find them. If you want to try this game for yourself, I got a link for you down below. I've been told the game is like 4 to 5 hours long before you breeze through it. Leave a like on this video if you wanted to see a little bit more and play a little bit further on in. But it is a unique idea for a game, and it is one of the more unique roguelikes that I've played in a really long time. So I figured I'd show it off for a little while. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out, and how you do, everybody.